a little more. Hey everybody, I got these engines out of the shed and I think it's time we clean one up. So I'm going to start with the Sandow engine today. We're going to clean it up and see if we can get it running. So let's get at it. Let's try to clean some of the dust off of this thing. Don't exactly know how to do it. I'm going to try a little air and blow some dust off. Taking a lot of leaves off, but it's also taking some of the paint off. This is an older restoration, so. Well, next is the trailer. We'll try to clean it up a little bit. I don't know how this is going to work. Sandow Line engine made Waterloo, Iowa. Sandy McManus. This is a 2.5 horsepower engine. It runs on a battery and a coil. We'll get that out of the way for now. Let's clean this engine up a little bit. Whew, is it dusty? When I restored these engines many years ago, I tried to trace down the original colors in this, so this was the original color of the engine. Looks like it's going to need some paint touch-up too. Now we'll start on top on the water hopper. This engine was the first engine I restored way back when. It was my first attempt to do pinstriping. Didn't turn out too bad for a dumb kid. Kind of sad when they sit so long, because I used to have the brass all polished up, everything nice and shiny. Not anymore. Get the dust off of them. It's always nice to have an engine that was in the family. My grandpa bought this engine. Later, out on the farm for years. I remembered it when I was a kid. Laid by the windmill. He used it to fill the pump, to run the pump jack on the windmill to fill the tanks. When the tanks were full, he just put in enough gas. He never had to go and shut it off, just let it run out of gas and then the tanks would be full. He knew just how much to put in. I was really proud of these engines when I showed them. Took me a long time to figure it out. And most of these engines I learned to run from old guys that were at the engine show. Those days I was just a kid, just starting out collecting engines, and I so much appreciated the information that I got from all the old guys that were at the shows. Older collectors. Then when I got into tractors, I went to the shows, and I would look for these old guys sitting around by the thrash machines and demonstrations, and listen to them talk about the old days. And I learned an awful lot just by keeping my mouth shut and keeping my ears open. I had some good teachers. Unfortunately, they're all gone now. Now I'm one of them old guys. But that's okay. History repeats itself, I guess. You know, these springs just sitting, they get old, brittle. They have a tendency to snap and break. You never know what's going to happen here. It's one thing that I can still recall. Back when I was showing these engines, the guys that I would talk to, you could tell they didn't want this hobby to die, so they were just anxious to tell you about stuff. If you want to test the spark on a magneto, you take the spark plug wire off of the spark plug, and you try to find some kid that'll hang on to it, and he'll get the shock of his life if it's good. I can remember him telling me that. And then you'll meet up with the guys who don't want to tell you anything. Don't want to share their experience and their knowledge. There's a lot of them out there too. But I was very fortunate. Very fortunate. Things are coming back to life here. Slowly but surely. This is last winter, no, year before. A couple kids came to my shop and had an engine. They knew I worked on old engines. Came to my shop and they brought an engine. And they were wondering if they could get it to run. And I said, sure, we can get it to run. Within a couple hours, we had it running. They were happy, grinning from ear to ear, and it sure made me feel good because that's part of it, sharing your knowledge. Boy, this thing is dirty. Can't believe it got that dusty just sitting there all those years. I had it covered too. It's looking better already. I don't like a dirty engine. I went to a tractor pull last night at the county fair, antique tractor pull. I saw a lot of old tractors running. Some were in their work clothes, weren't fixed up, but the ones that really thrilled me were the ones that people put the time in to really paint up, clean up, showed they really took some pride in those tractors. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be run without fixing them up. I guess it's everybody's preference. Young boys that worked on that engine last couple of years ago here, they kind of told me something too. They said, we're not going to spend our time painting it up, we're going to spend our time making it run. And I thought that was a good point. But if I'm going to show an engine, I want it to look the best it possibly can. That's the way I've always felt. I have a cleaner I put on this paint years ago. I think I probably used it all up. And if I didn't, it'd be hard as rock by now anyway. This is oak, cut right off the farm. Came off my wife's farm where she grew up. If you want to come and watch, you got to grab a rag and start polishing.
I'll be seeing you.
That's how mine help. They come and go as fast as they came.
Do you have this trim paint again, like for the trailer?
No, I don't have any. You got to find me some.
Almost looks like the pickup color.
No.
Anything happen while I was gone?
Nope. The tent arm is stuck in here. Get that loose. Spare parts. Who knows where they came from? Well, we finally got that Sandow engine cleaned up now. We got it all, the grease and the grime pushed off of it. Shined it up a little bit. I had to do a little touch-up paint, not too much. I lucked out on that. So let's go now and try to get this thing going. First thing we have to do is make sure everything is oiled. So I'm going to get my oil can here. First thing we'll oil is the valves. Intake. And the exhaust valve. Make sure the rocker's got a little habit. You can't see it from there, but on this side is the igniter. Make sure that's got oil. Detent rod's got oil. Igniter trip. Everything looks good there. Governor springs. The governor. The bearing caps on the main bearings, screw them down, get some grease in them. And there is some grease in them. Good. Connecting rod bearing. Then we need to hook up the battery. Now some of these engines had magnetos. This one has a battery. It's just the igniter run off the battery and the coil. So we're going to hook that up. Hope I can remember how to hook this up. Should be right. The igniter is nothing but a spark plug. It just, the points come together, they snap and make a spark, and that spark will ignite the mixture in the chamber. The cylinder. Okay, we're going to need some gas. Apparently I used my funnel, but I can't find it. Okay, now the next thing, this engine is water cooled. That's what this big hopper is for here. So we have to put some water in there to cool the cylinder. I've got my old Model T watering can. Hope that's enough. Okay, let's see what happens. First of all, we'll turn the gas on. This is the carburetor. Open the carburetor. Air valve is working. See if anything happens. There's no problems right there. Now we'll try it. These grease cups, they're hollow and you screw them down and it forces the grease into the bearings. There. Looks better now. Try a little more. Yes! We got fire. We're running. (1914) Sandow Line's engine. Manufactured by the Sandy McManus Manufacturing Company, Waterloo, Iowa. My grandfather bought this engine back in 1914, brand new. Give it a little more gas. There you go. This engine's got a 6-inch stroke, 4.5-inch bore on the piston, 22-inch flywheels. I keep it running slow because you can see what's happening then. You can see the detent arm come in and hold the valve open. Slows down and then it hits again. Grandfather bought this engine so he could pump water with it and grind feed for his cattle. Well, there you have it, everybody. Sandow engine, 1914 Sandow engine running. We got it running after 20 some years. Now we've got some more to fix up. So, until the next engine, we'll see everybody from Ozzie's Oddities. We'll be back. Thanks for joining us.